Have you ever felt like you're giving your all to someone, but no matter what you do, it's never enough? You pour energy into them, trying to get their approval, seeking validation, but the harder you try, the more distant they become. It's frustrating, right? But here's the shocking truth. The more you care, the more they take you for granted. What if I told you that the key to unlocking true freedom lies in one powerful decision? Stop caring. It might sound counterintuitive, but when you stop chasing after their attention, something magical happens. Their ego can't handle it. It's like a sudden, jarring wake-up call. The moment you stop seeking validation, they are forced to face the fact that you no longer need them. And believe me, that's a blow to their ego that hits harder than anything you could say. The truth about how people treat you. Let's break this down. People treat you exactly how you allow them to treat you. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where you always made the first move, always tried to fix things, or constantly reached out when they pulled away? That's because they grew comfortable with you doing the chasing. They thought you'd always be there. They took your presence for granted. You became their emotional safety net, no matter how they treated you. Now imagine this. You stop chasing. You stop trying to get their attention. You stop making the effort to prove you're worth their time. What do you think happens next? They lose control. They no longer have your constant reassurance. Their ego starts to crumble because they're suddenly forced to face the reality. You don't need them. This realization shakes them to their core. Shocking fact, caring too much fuels their ego. Here's something most people don't realize. Caring too much gives their ego wings. The more you give without limits, the more they take it for granted. Think of it like filling a cup with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much love or energy you pour into them, it all spills out. You end up drained and frustrated. Why? Because their ego thrives on your attention. When you constantly cater to their needs, they start feeling entitled to your time, love, and energy. They believe they deserve it, not because they've earned it, but because you've been handing it out freely. The worst part is that you start thinking you need to keep giving just to be enough. But here's the shocking truth. You are enough. Your worth is not tied to how much you give or how much you sacrifice for someone who barely appreciates it. You don't need to earn their attention. You deserve it, but not at the cost of your peace. What happens when you stop playing their game? Now, here's the turning point. When you stop overgiving and pull back, something amazing happens. You stop playing their game. They rely on your reactions, your overthinking, and your endless efforts to keep things alive. But when you refuse to engage, it's like flipping the board. Their strategy? It crumbles. It might sound dramatic, but the moment you stop responding to their manipulative tactics, they no longer hold any power over you. They were never in control. You were, but you didn't realize it until now. The illusion of control. People act like they're in control because their ego thrives on the idea that they can manipulate others. Have you ever rearranged your schedule or did something just to please someone else? Maybe you stayed up late texting them, wondering if they'd notice how much you cared. That wasn't their control over you, that was your fear of losing them. When you stop reacting, you take back the reins. They thought they had you right where they wanted you, but when you let go of the need to please them, you realize the truth. You are in control of your own life. Independence makes you irresistible. Here's another powerful truth. Independence makes you irresistible. Most people are trapped in a cycle of neediness, constantly seeking validation from others to feel complete. When you break free from that cycle, it's like stepping into the light after being in a fog. Suddenly, you're no longer chasing their approval. You're not dependent on them for validation. And that independence? It draws people in. It makes you stand out. You become more attractive because you no longer seek to complete someone else or rely on their attention. But remember, embracing independence is not easy. It means confronting uncomfortable truths, letting go of the belief that your value depends on how much you're needed. But once you do, you'll realize something life-changing. You are whole on your own. And that's what attracts real love and respect into your life. Kindness with boundaries isn't weakness. Here's another lesson that will change the way you see yourself. Kindness isn't weakness. Too often, people mistake your kindness for something they can take advantage of. They think that because you're kind, you'll always say yes. But kindness, without boundaries, loses its meaning. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's wise. It's about knowing what you deserve and making sure others treat you with the same respect you give them. When you say no to things that drain you, you protect your energy. And people who respect your boundaries will value you even more because they'll see your strength. Your silence speaks volumes. One of the most powerful things you can do when someone's ego starts to collapse is to stay silent. Your silence isn't just you ignoring them, it's you reclaiming your power. They're used to getting your reaction. They're used to you always engaging. But when you stop reacting, they're forced to pay attention. The truth is, your silence makes them wonder. They begin to question their own behavior. They might try to pull you back with a message, or by showing interest in some small way. But you don't fall for it. You've already walked away. And as they struggle to regain control, they realize something shocking. You don't need them to feel whole. Rejection isn't the end, it's a redirection. Here's the final truth you need to know. Rejection isn't the end. When someone pulls away, it's not because you're not enough. It's because that person was never meant to be in your life. Rejection is redirection. It forces you to pause and realign with your true purpose. You stop wasting time and energy on someone who wasn't right for you and start focusing on your growth. It might feel like a dead end, but really it's a new path, one that leads to your glow up. The moment you stop seeking their approval and embrace your own worth, you become unstoppable.